saw my fiancé and my sister slip into a private room. I followed them, only to find them undressed. But that was just the least scary thing I discovered that day. I am Susan Drew, and this is my story. Susan was ready to have her first intimate experience with her fiancé, until she found him in bed with her sister in a compromising position. But just hours earlier, everything had felt perfect. A delightful shiver ran through her thinking about his touch. The thought of giving herself to her fiancé for the first time set Susan's heart racing. She was on her way to tell him the good news. She had just returned from a successful business trip from Paris, exhaustion lining her features. Still, there had been a spark of joy in her eyes to hug her fiancé and lose it all. Tonight, she wanted to officially announce to their family about getting married after this business trip. Where is Jacob? I can't find him anywhere. Susan searched for her fiancé in her house. Though she couldn't find her fiancé, what bothered her more was the thought of facing her sister Sophia at the party her father had organized for her. Just remembering how Sophia had returned home after a few years of working overseas, her face brought a bitter taste to her mouth. She had always been jealous of Susan, as Sophia had failed repeatedly in her attempts to set up a business in another country. Unlike Susan, who was always successful in her business pursuits, Susan glanced around, noticing Jacob was nowhere in sight. That's when the cook, Mario, stepped in and whispered in her ear.
"Hey, I saw Jacob sneaking off with Sophia into her bedroom,"
said Mario, brushing off the unease. Susan rushed to Sophia's room. As she stood at the door, Sophia's laughter rang through her ears. She pushed the door open just enough to see inside. She saw her sister Sophia and her fiancé Jacob in an intimate embrace, exposing their betrayal.
"Isn't it fun sneaking around like this?"
said Sophia with a smirk.
"I can't keep my hands off you even for a moment."
Jacob wrapped his arms around her body, pulling her close.
"Aren't you worried about how my sister would react after she knows about our engagement?"
"Engagement? I don't care. I promised that freak that I would marry her, only because she held a share in Drew Corporation.
But now that you are about to have the 70% share, you are my queen now.
She is all but mine,"
said Jacob with no guilt on his face.
"That dumb freak will never be your wife."
Sophia laughed viciously.
"Yes, baby. She will rot somewhere in a dark hole when reality hits her hard."
Jacob's words slashed Susan's heart. He was never her first choice for a husband because he was a womanizer who treated women like playthings. But after millions of promises made by him and a fancy proposal, she had accepted him as her future. I was labeled as the Queen of California back in my university days. I would have found anyone to marry me. Why am I with such a jerk? Susan thought.
Jacob, in that case, kiss me again.
Besides, Susan is on a business trip, but I would have known if she had reached home. She is so noisy.
Sophia added fuel to the fire. Susan wanted to give Jacob a surprise by arriving in the city a day prior. Little did she know that she would witness her fiancé in her sister's pants.
"I have always wondered, Sophia, how did you end up with 70% shares of Drew Corporation? Susan is Noah Drew's daughter, just like you. Why wouldn't he give her those shares when she was already set in the company?"
Sophia didn't want to disclose the family's secrets to Jacob. She waved her hand dismissively, dodging his question with practiced ease.
Shh. It's a long story. I must leave soon. I need to get ready for our engagement party.
Tonight, my family will declare you as my future husband and me as an heir to Drew Corporation.
It will be so good to see Susan's sad face then.
Yeah, I bet, but don't go just yet. Let me have some more fun.
Jacob slid a finger under her dress.
Oh, Jacob, I will be yours soon. Do as you please after this party. I have to get ready now.
Susan whispered to herself. An heir to Drew Corporation. So she came back to become an heir. I knew Sophia was capable of something like this. But Jacob? Was he with me? Only for the shares from the very beginning. How much more will he benefit by switching from me to Sophia? I'm so done with this cheat. There are plenty of men here who would throw themselves at me if I let my guard down. I just need to find the right one. She turned and rushed out of there, her heart pounding painfully in her chest. Downstairs, she crossed the party filled with crowds, and it felt like they were all celebrating her misery. Grabbing the tallest drink she could find, she hurried to the garden. Desperate for fresh air, she leaned against the weathered garden parapet, craving another man's touch. She wanted to melt into someone's arms like she had just seen Susan do with Jacob. That is when she noticed a man leaning against the wall in the open garden, smoking a cigar. And when he turned, Susan gasped. She recognized him instantly. Ethan Storm, Jacob's cousin, the man Sophia was once obsessed with, her precious apple of the eye. I remember she wanted to marry him for his good looks and wealth. He owns 25% of the Storm family business and manages another company abroad now. He disappeared from California years ago after a feud with our family. He has been keeping a low profile since then. But now he's back. What is he doing here? An idea crept up in Susan's mind. If I convince him to marry me, it will teach Sophia and Jacob a lesson. Anyway, I have to find an excellent match for myself, or my position in Drew Corporation will be inferior to Sophia's. So I think his cousin will be the best for me. Susan gulped down her drink for some liquid courage and took a step towards that stranger.
To listen to the full audio series, install the Pocket FM app now.